nation. So we decided to call in a Sanders campaign expert for a little bit of help. So joining us now is just such a person from our Washington bureau, Jane Sanders. Jane Sanders, thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
So if your husband fights back, becomes the Democratic nominee, talk about what you think his vision is for the that he would help plan and preside over. How would it be different from past recent Democratic conventions?
Well, I think he would be talking about the issues very strongly, about laying out a progressive vision for the future. You've heard his platform talking about accessible higher education, a national health care plan, a minimum wage that is $15 an hour. He'll also be talking about electoral reform so that we increase our voter turnout and we increase the number of people in the Democratic Party. He'll be talking about how we need to shut the revolving door from lobbyists to corporate interests to campaign donors in the executive and the legislative branches. There'll be a number of things.
Let me ask you about that very thing. At past, recent, and historically all modern Democratic conventions, corporate lobbyists have access to suites within the convention hall and can mingle with politicians. Is that something you'd see at a Bernie Sanders convention in Philadelphia, or would corporate lobbyists not be welcome?
No, I think that if Bernie wins the nomination, it will be at the convention, so there will be a lot of people already there. And, you know, I mean, maybe Ben and Jerry's will have a suite there.
Jane, the other day, your husband was on television with Mark, among others, and was asked about the vice presidential question, and he said that it would be great to have a woman on the ticket, and he mentioned Elizabeth Warren as one potential person who would be maybe a good idea. Can you name any other women who you think would make great potential running mates for your husband?
Oh, I think I would not be. I should not answer those questions.
Oh, you certainly should. You certainly should. Come on.
Just give us one more name.
I know. I talk to you guys too much. No.
No. Okay. So again, there's this at least somewhat awkward situation where, as you just said, if your husband's going to be the nominee, it's going to happen in July at the convention. But if it happens then, he's going to be on the doorstep of a general election that'll be pretty spirited. So today, Secretary Clinton's campaign announced state directors in 3 important battleground states. Is your campaign planning to do that? Do you have planning underway for how a general election would work, or is that just going to start from a standing start in July if you win?
No. We're, of course, very aware of what has to happen in a general election. Excuse me. And we've got people in place, and we'll see what happens. We're not going to move past this primary election right now. We're focused on Indiana and Kentucky and Oregon and California and Puerto Rico. So we're focusing on that. But we've got people in place in all the states, and that's one of the reasons we've gone in 40 states. We need 10 more states that we have to work with and make sure that every single person has the right to vote for the candidate of their choice and also express their wishes for the agenda going forward. And we're meeting with people.
Okay. So just to be clear, I know you don't know exactly what the Clinton campaign is doing for the general election, but could you tell Democrats who, one of your big talking points is you'd be stronger in a general election. Can you assure Democrats who are worried about that, concerned about that, that you have done as much planning or will be just as prepared to wage a general election fight as Hillary Clinton's campaign?
We will be just as prepared and stronger, but in a different way. I mean, we have not run this election in the cookie-cutter way. We haven't done things the same way that most candidates have. We've been, as you've seen, really bringing people out and exciting them, inspiring them about moving forward and thinking differently about what a government of the people, by the people, and for the people could mean. And so we're talking about specific issues, but we're also talking about a broader vision for America. So when you look at every one of the polls, Mark, and I know you guys really spend a lot of time looking at these things. I don't spend a lot, but for the last 3 months, it's been very clear that Bernie always does better against all the Republicans than Secretary Clinton does. And the reason for that is because he brings out not just, the Democratic nominee will bring out the Democratic base. But Bernie would also bring out a lot of independents, and he gets some of the Republicans. And if Trump is the nominee, some of the Republicans are not going to want to go there. And in his Senate race, he got 25% of the Republican vote in Vermont. You know, the old common sense, rock-ribbed Republicans, not the new Trump Republicans.
All right, Jane. I want to talk a little bit about taxes now, and I want to talk about a couple of comments you've made. First, you were on this show, I believe, on April 11th, and you were asked about your family's tax returns. A couple weeks later, you were on a different network on a different program. I want to play the sound for you here from the two different things.
Okay, well, wait. Let's have time to actually talk about issues. But I will tell you, our taxes are done, and they're at an accountant, because I know you guys are going to look through them with a fine-tooth comb, or if you're not, then David Brock is, and the many other people. So don't worry about it. Our taxes are being checked and will be out. But we did put out the 2014 right away.
Right.
So don't worry about that. Let's move on to real issues.
Well, I got to follow up on this question. So you say your taxes will be out. So the other day you suggested that you were not going to put your taxes out until Hillary Clinton had released her speech transcripts. Is that no longer the quid pro quo?
It's not a quid pro quo. I said with Wolf, I said, it's funny, we did put out the 2014 taxes, and Secretary Clinton didn't put out her transcripts. We made as much in a year as she made in an hour. Right. You're going to see that play out every year. I just think that it would be nice to do that. I have a question for you. Her answer is she wants to stay with the standard. It should apply to absolutely everybody. The person she's running against has not given any Wall Street speeches that were paid $200,000 or even $2. So that's this election. But have you asked the Republicans if any of them have given paid speeches to Wall Street over the last, say, 10 years for $200,000? And ask them to release them if they have?
I'm 100% for full disclosure on all these matters, from speaking personally, on Hillary Clinton's part and on all Republicans. People are giving paid speeches. If the transcripts exist, they should be put out. I'm for that. Let me just be real clear about the last thing about the taxes, though. You said a bunch of your taxes are now in with an accountant. Again, just how many years and when will we see them?
Oh, no, first off, I just finished the 2015, and I've given them some back ones to look at. When they're done, I just dropped them off this morning, the 2015 ones, which I did. And I don't think Secretary Clinton has put out her 2015 either. I think they will be a little bit different. But you didn't answer my question. Have you asked the Republicans whether they've given any Wall Street speeches for $200,000 or more, and will they release them?
I don't think any of them have. But again, just to tie this up, we got 15 seconds. Just yes or no. Is releasing your tax returns contingent on Secretary Clinton?
No,
it's not contingent.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, Jane, thank you very much.
But I think it would be fair.
Yep, understood. All right, Jane Sanders, thank you. We'll be right back with more after this.